this third and final video, we'll walk through restoring a website using BackupBuddy and then talk a bit about how you can migrate a site using BackupBuddy. The process is essentially similar, but there are a couple of minor differences. When you get ready to restore a website, you need to have a few things in place. The first thing you need to do is you need to upload your database backup, or the most current one you have, and you also upload a file called importbuddy.php. You also need to have a database set up. It's an empty database. There are no tables. It's just blank. The third step is to run the import PHP file and walk through the 6-step process that will allow you to test the database connection, to unzip all the files, and then to import your data into the database. Let's start by looking at the files you need to restore this WordPress website. The first thing you need to do when you get ready to restore a site or even migrate it is to make sure you've got the appropriate files up on your web server. I'm taking one of my websites and I've moved everything that I had on it to the whole directory, and I'm going to make sure that I have the appropriate backup up here, and then I'm going to upload the importbuddy.php file. This is the backup that I did most recently, and I have moved it already. Since it's such a large file, I've moved it to the root of this website. I'm using FileZilla, which is an excellent free FTP program and one that I suggest you look at. There are some videos on how to use it located on my website, which I'll mention below. Upload importbuddy, and then you're ready to go with the next step, which is to set up your database. The easiest way to do this is to use your control panel based upon whichever host you have. I'm using HostMonster, and what I've done is I have gone through and minimized all of these things that I normally don't use. There's several things that I only use once in a while. Probably the most used, other than the ones that I have showing right now, would be the one for Simple Scripts installations. Come down to the bottom where it says MySQL Databases, and what you're going to want is the MySQL Database Wizard. When you click on that, it's going to ask you if you want to create a new database, and you give it any name. This then creates the database on the database server, and you're ready to go. Once I've got the database created, I come back out to this screen because it's easier for me to add users this way rather than to go through the process they have there. I'm going to use this link that says MySQL Databases, and it will take me to a screen that will list all of my databases and also show me the users that I can assign to specific databases. From this screen, you can assign users to specific databases and give them the appropriate privileges. You scroll down to the center of the page where it shows you MySQL users, and you can add a user to the database. For this specific example, I'm going to use the standard login which I have used on other installations, which is Bizmom. For this installation, what I'm going to do is to use the admin user that I've set up for a number of the test databases that I use on this server. Once you click on the Add button, it will take you to a screen that allows you to manage privileges for the user. Since this is an admin user, I'm going to add all privileges so this user can have complete access to the database. Once you click on Make Changes, it will assign those changes and take you back to a success screen, and then you can go back and add additional users or move to something else. Once your files are uploaded, you need to go to the root of your website and then add in the page importbuddy.php. If things are set up properly, you'll get a page that looks like this. Here in the center, you'll have a drop-down box listing all of the backups that you might have on your site that are available to you. There are a number of advanced troubleshooting options, but you should only use these, generally speaking, when you run into problems with the regular install. When you click on the next step, it will take you to a page that asks you whether you're going to be restoring to the same server or migrating to a new server. But in this example, I'll be changing the database back in just because I don't want to delete the data that's already there. Step 3 shows you that it's extracting the files, and it shows you that it's actually doing it in normal mode. Once it's complete, it will give you a message that you're ready to move to the next step. We now have a successful completion message where it tells us that the files were successfully extracted. Then we can go to the next step, which is step number 4. Here is where you will enter all the pertinent data for this particular installation. As I said earlier, I'm going to be changing the database name to one that I have used before as a test database because I don't want to delete the database that's there. You'll notice down here at the bottom it also gives you the option to rename the database tables. This is always a good idea if you've got them stored with the standard WP prefix to help protect your website. Once you click on the Test Database Settings button, it will tell you whether you've had success in connecting to the database or not. This is where you need to identify problems before you go on to the next step. And again, I'm going to leave this here, WP, because I'm using a separate test database. When you click the next step, what it will do is it will be making changes to your actual website. It will restore the database and walk through the steps and show you the steps it's actually moving through so that you can check on its progress and not have to wait. I found that some days this is quicker than others, and it depends primarily on how many people are accessing that particular web server. So now you see that the import's been complete. You can click on Delete the Import Migration Files, and it will do this for you automatically. And then it will tell you that some things could not be deleted, but that's okay because you can go back through and delete them manually. We should now be able to go to the root of this website and make sure that it still works. And this is a website. It's a hobby website that I use, and you can see that the theme has been restored, that the data is here, and it looks just like it did prior to my making changes and restoring the database. So that's it in a nutshell. That's how you quickly go through and restore a database. It's very easy. And the ease of restoring this thing makes BackupBuddy extremely worthwhile if you maintain even one website, because it will save you time and will save you money in the long run.